Hitman. Part of the unfortunate trend of rebooting franchises by naming games like the first one and ruining Google results. Why do you do that? Has a simple but interesting performance trick that is worth making a video about. This is the Low Spec Gamer, a video series where we explore ways of using different tricks to play games under the minimum requirements. Hitman is a 2016 game running on the Glacier engine that is typical of Hitman games. It requires a GTX 660, a 2012 mid-end GPU, which is why of course I'm going with the 640, an entry-level GPU from the same line. Hitman's graphical settings can be changed with this convenient launcher, where you can also execute a benchmark with the current settings to see how your computer will do. The current setup on the lowest settings in 720p, bottlenecked by the 640, did an average of 26 FPS. So, you may have noticed there's a super sampling option. This is used by the engine to render the game at a higher internal resolution for better anti-aliasing, among other things. But the interesting thing is that it can be tricked into lower resolutions for better performance, like a regular resolution scaler. To do this, first you need to check if super sampling is disabled by seeing if the box where you can control it is grayed out. If that is the case, this can be enabled by overriding memory safeguards in the options. With that done, the game stores settings in the system registry, which you can access via the registry editor. Standard warning: listen to my instructions and do not change other things in the registry. If you do not know what you are doing, you could cause some really nasty OS issues. Inside the registry, navigate to Current User, Software, IO Interactive, Hitman. Now this value controls the super sampling, and if you set it to a value in decimal under 1000, it will reduce the internal resolution instead of increasing it. So a value of 500 will render the game at half the resolution while still maintaining a readable UI. One important observation though: if you do this change, do not open the settings screen in the launcher, since it will reset your settings. If you want to benchmark the game with the settings, you need to go to the folder where the game is installed and run the engine benchmark from there. With those changes, the average jumps to a more comfortable 40, which is nice for this GPU, although let's see how that does in practice. Well, that's a little bit dark, but it's doing well for having so many NPCs. This seems to be the spot where it lowers to the lowest given the amount of people, and it's still pretty much manageable. So now we mix a drink for this guy and throw a little bit of poison into it. Let's see what happens. Oh, he goes to the toilet. That's definitely his goes to the toilet.
Command.
I can't believe this is actually working. Yep, that worked.
Trying to pull some shit.
What? That's not what I intended. Yeah, that's not going to... That's not... Now, I wanted to add an additional comment regarding DirectX version. This game supports DirectX 12 on Windows, an API that aims at giving some performance increases. I decided to test the game on the lowest settings with both DirectX 11 and 12, and while I saw no performance boost on the benchmark, I did observe something interesting. This game tends to be a bit heavy on CPU usage, but the same section will have significantly lower CPU usage on DirectX 12. This means that if you have a DirectX 12 compatible GPU, you might need to experiment a bit with this to see if you can get better performance on CPU bottlenecks. Nothing mind-blowing, I know, but something interesting to observe. Thank you at those who choose to donate in Patreon for making this kind of videos possible. See you on the next video.